What's up, everybody? This is Seth and Matt. We are Market Peek, P-E-E-K. We're going to be giving you a peek of the market. We're going to be doing a couple shows a week, few shows a week, and then we'll add more as we go. The reason we're doing this show is because Matthew was bugging me for months to do a show like this. I've had some success with my personal investments, and I've done really, really well. And Matt knows a lot more about the broad base of the market. And we figured his broad knowledge and my focused knowledge would be a really nice combination. We are not experts at all. This is not financial advice at all. But, you know, maybe you might learn a little something along the way. So I've done really well. As I said, I have another podcast that I do, which took up a lot of time. Matt finally convinced me, so here we are. And you can see what I have in front of me. This is my 3-month, and this is Robinhood. I'll be honest with you, I'm probably not going to stick with them due to recent events. But for the purpose of this show, I left it going because otherwise I wouldn't have anything to show. But you can see I'm up 85% in the last few months. If I go to the year, it says 1,900%. That's off. It's a weekend. It's closer to about 800%, and I'll have a screenshot I can put up for you guys. And the main reason why I've done so well, let's face it, EV, renewable energy, it's so hot right now. And I invested in Tesla, and anyone who invested in Tesla did pretty well. Also, Tesla, I mean, seriously, it is just a beast all into its own. In fact, if I would have just put all my money, yeah, for sure. And if I would have put all my money into Tesla and just let it sit there, I probably would have done better. But I try to have 3 or 4 stocks going at once. Also, Switchback Energy, SBE, they're doing a reverse merger with ChargePoint, which is a company that owns the most charging stations throughout the country. The two of them are going to be coming together. SBE has been doing really, really well. That's one in the last 3 or 4 months has been doing well. And then Watt, W-A-T-T, which I'll put in here. It's about $130 million a year company. It's not like that big of a company, but they own essentially, and I'll go back out to the year here. They own radio charging technology where you can literally charge with radio waves. And it is a company that has been slowly getting picked up. They have a contract with the military recently. They're getting more patents. In addition to that, they already have contracts with hearing aid companies and stuff like that as well. Each time they reinvent themselves, the transistors, everything gets smaller, and it's supposed to be the wave of the future. Think about it. You don't have to have your phone anywhere on a pad. Your phone doesn't have to be, or even your computer one day. It could be anywhere in the room, and it can pick up radio waves, and it can charge. Right now, the biggest issue is how quickly it charges. Obviously, it's not going to be as fast as being plugged in, but this is a company that's got, a lot going on, and it's been doing really, really well, really well recently. And as the biggest thing holding it back right now is it needs to be improved in China. And I believe it was Korea, but it was recently approved in another country. But as soon as it gets approved in China, it's going to completely explode. They've already put in the applications, waiting for it to happen. I'm waiting for it to happen. I bought it way back in March when everything dipped. I got about 80 cents. So right about there. When it jumped way up, honestly, sold it at about 231, bought back in, went up, sold it again, ended up buying it about $1.80, something like that. And obviously recently it's jumped up to 412, sold it at a great time because as you can see, it's actually jumped, gone back down with everything else. So that's a little bit about what I got going on. I'm going to be updating what I've done for the week or whatever, the few days, every time we do this. But with that, we're going to go on to 3 charts with Market Matt. So every show, Matt's going to pick 3 charts for us to go over so we can kind of get an idea of what's going on from his point of view. And then we're going to go ahead and start with the VIX. And by the way, I didn't even let you say hello. Why don't you say hello to everyone, Matt?
Hello, everyone, Matt.
All right. Yeah, right. So we're starting with the VIX. I'll put it on the year charts. And I will go ahead and just give a quick, overview, and then you can kind of give your point of view. As you can see, and you had mentioned this to me before, at the beginning of the year, it was down to like 13%. And for those of you who don't know, it's basically the volatility chart. It's basically the sentiment of the market. The higher it is, the worse it is. That's more fear. The lower it is, the more content everyone is with everything going on. And you can see back in March when COVID really went crazy, It was up to about 81.9. It's been really, really low. And if I go to the 5-day, you can see recently it's been jumping up. So what are your thoughts on the VIX?
So a year ago, the VIX was kind of basing out in that 11 to 14 band.
Sure was. Yep.
Price band, and it broke out
Big time.
due to COVID. Right now, we're looking at the VIX slowly in a downtrend. The question is, where is it going to base out this time before the next large disruptive move higher? And
Sure.
I say disruptive because obviously there's a reverse correlation between the VIX and the S&P, which tracks. VIX goes up, the market goes down.
Yeah.
And the market has been slowly grinding higher, meaning the VIX has slowly been kind of disintegrating.
Yeah.
To be honest, a lot of people short the VIX right now. There's a huge short trade along with bonds and the dollar. And those three assets share an inverse correlation in most normal circumstances with equities. So equities are an attractive buy right now. The market's grinding higher. People are making money. They don't need bonds. They don't need those other, kind of safety trades.
Sure.
So the VIX right now up decently, moderately this week. I think a few days ago we had the fifth or sixth highest spike in a long time.
Sure.
VIX was up 61%, I believe, somewhere abouts. And that's a large move.
Yeah, it was really large.
Yeah, but it has also fallen. And, it was up again Friday.
Yep.
And there's a lot of resistance overhead. There's a lot of overhead supply to chew through. So we'll see, if the VIX gaps up, 10% into Monday morning and, sustains during trading hours and, starts to break out, then a lot of those short positions, they unwind and we get, an impulsive move higher. It could happen. Sure. But that would be a reversal in trend, and you can't really capture that in a 5-day chart.
Sure.
But to anyone who was long the VIX at the beginning of the week, congratulations.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's interesting because the whole rise happened at just the same time as the GameStop thing started going on. We're going to cover, that was one of Matt's charts for the week. So that's going to be the last one we look at. But it's been interesting how everything going on with that and all the lawsuits that are happening and everything really coincided at the exact same time. So,
Could be a correlation.
Yeah, for sure. You want to move on to the next one?
Sure.
All right. So the next one we got, I'll put on the year. This is the IWM. And as you can see, doing pretty well. Big drop right when everything happened with COVID, and then just slowly been going up. That's for sure, just like all the other stocks.
So a year ago, the IWM outperformed to the downside relative to its brothers and sisters.
Brothers and sisters.
SPY, Qs, the diamonds, fell 35 to 40%. Which made sense given that the catalyst of the crash was COVID, a circumstance that would definitely decimate smaller companies, particularly in the small cap Russell 2000 index, which is comprised mostly of American small banks, energy companies, and retailers.
300 million to 2 billion in market cap.
Hammered, yeah. Yeah, as far as qualifications, general, broadly speaking, go,
sure.
Yes. So the IWM is a pretty good market leading indicator, meaning it's a good sentiment indicator when, assessing risk on or risk off sentiment, right? So people pile into IWM, they're gambling more, they're searching for yield, they're searching for value for companies and ETFs that haven't rallied alongside the broader market in this case. All these tech companies, growth cap stocks have all rallied, posted new all-time highs.
Sure
IWM, is playing catch up, and as some would say, now taking a lead role in this general broad uptrend.
Do you feel like that is
market.
because a lot of people see the potential to make more money on a stock that, let's face it, I bought Watt at 80 cents. Like, it could move so much more easily than a stock that's
sentiment,
400.
Hunt for value, definitely a driving factor.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. I mean, that's what I've done. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's worked out. Well, you've also made a bet on renewable energy.
Yep.
And on, social trends shifting and, beginning to drive market trends.
Yeah. As I like to say, I have my little group, my little herd that I follow. And when I see one, I feel like it's going to rise up, I just sell something and buy back in. So, but yeah, these smaller ones obviously have a lot more potential. TXRC, what is it? So yeah, TRXC. There's another one that did pretty well. And if I go out to the year, you can see this was trading at like 35, 40 cents. They're a medical device company. Then all of a sudden they shot up to like 361. And they, that's another one that I got it on the way up. I didn't have it. I got it like $1.60, $1.70, got on the way up. But that's another one. They're not a big company at all. So, all right. Are we ready for the big one?
Yeah. Congratulations on that trade. And go ahead.
All right. So the next one we're going to be looking at is GameStop. So I have the year chart here. Actually, let's go to all. Yeah, right. Game who? Like what?
What?
So
that video game store, didn't they go bankrupt like 10 years ago?
Video game store. So I was talking to my mom, because my mom, she teaches meditation. She's a spiritual healer. She's a life coach. She doesn't pay attention to any of this crap. So I called her today to explain what was going on and explain some of the issues that I've had, because I was sort of involved with everything, even though I didn't buy GameStop specifically. And I was like, she's like, GameStop? I was like, yeah, I remember Grandma, when I was a kid, every year she got me a gift certificate to the video game store. I was like, oh yeah. But anyway, they sell video games, they sell controllers, they sell Xboxes and PlayStations, all that stuff. And as you can see, like the peak beforehand was about almost $64. And all of a sudden, GameStop just freaking exploded. So I'm actually going to be doing this on my show. It's BWSS Podcast, Because We Said So podcast. It's going to be episode 53. We're going to spend about a half hour talking about exactly what happened. But long story short, Roaring Kitty, he's a guy who streams. About 5 months ago, he put out a video about how great GameStop is, the moves that they're making, moving to online. They're starting to sponsor esports events and stuff like that. And he was making a really, really good case. Slowly but surely, people started, thinking, it's a good idea. I'm going to invest too. And so many people started following him and investing that it got up to like $65. And then all of a sudden, somebody found out, or people started telling him that the big guys were shorting the stock that he had spent months just really trying to pump up. And he built this community and all this and that. And enough people were like, well, screw that. We're not going to let him. So they all just started buying stock. And as you can see, I'll go into the 1 month. As you can see, all of a sudden, it just exploded. And it went up to $495 at one point. And granted, if you go, just like a month ago, it was, $20. So it has just gone absolutely crazy. Now, you can explain it a little bit more eloquently than I can, Matt. But when people short a stock, they also have to buy stock, which actually led to a lot of this as well. So please enlighten us with that.
So when you purchase, when you borrow shares, as you do when you short a stock, basically what you're doing is betting that stock will fall.
Yep.
In simplest terms. The person whom you're borrowing the shares from has to hedge that position, right? And they hedge with shares. When you, as the borrower, lose money on your position, right? And the share price of that stock you're betting goes up, right? And you lose,
Yeah.
you have to buy shares.
Sure.
And that act, right, also can send the stock price
Because
higher.
they're buying more shares.
Yeah, this feedback loop. The question is, what happens if people lose interest suddenly in buying call or put options in these heavily shorted stocks, which, while being popular right now, might not be one day, and then that all that premium, that implied volatility, will just drop.
So,
and those options will, lose value.
About 65% of shorted stocks actually, fail. You end up losing money, and the amount of money shorted ends up being about 3% of the total stock market. But they're so successful that I think at last report it was like $92 billion has been lost by a lot of the people shorting. And in fact, one of them ended up having to take a $2 billion loan.
The hedge fund got bailed out. It's a story that we're going to hear over and over again if this thing continues.
Hopefully,
the GME.
Hopefully, hopefully it keeps going up. I can't do it. I just can't do it. It's just too late for me. It's too late. Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens, but it works. I mean, these people lost a ton of money. At one point it dipped down to about $1.19. Let me see, $1.26, I guess. So my question with that is,
pretty epic intraday collapse.
Do you feel like that was enough for them to kind of, for some of the short people to get what they wanted? Because it dapped down and then it went right back up. It shot right back up to like $2.99 by the end of the day.
My question is, in response to yours, is will hedge funds find a way to profit on the way up?
They should. They should just get behind it. Just get behind it while you can. Like that's what kind of confuses me is like,
it would not be a good look.
Well, but if you know it's going up, the whole band of like millions, it's like million. Like if you go to Wall Street Bets subreddit, you'll see that they have over 6 million people there. So and basically, if you got, let's say at least 25%, let's say you've got like 2.7 mil or 1.7 million people that are all trying to beat you. Why don't you just go with them and make a ton of money? That's what just really confuses me. I just don't get it. So in my involvement, so let me go back to my freaking chart here. So let me go back to what I got going on. So you can see right now, I got 100 shares of AMC. I figured I'd get a little bit. What happened to me as Naked, NKE or NAKD. Naked Juices. They got the blue machine or whatever.
Boathouse Farms.
Yeah, Boathouse Farms. They own Boathouse Farms as well? No, they're a competitor. Farms. So, but anyway, so Naked Juices, what's that?
You're right.
Yeah. So Naked Juices, I heard they're another one they're trying to, beat. It got short. So I jumped on. I got it at $1.41 on Wednesday. I bought it right before the fucking bell. So morning comes, and at one point I even sent you a screenshot. It was up 134%. So I was like, great, we're jamming, we're good, don't have to worry. So I start, doing family stuff. I check back like 2-3 hours later, it's falling like a rock. Found out that Robinhood stopped letting people buy GameStop, Naked, what's another one? AMC, and there was a couple, BlackBerry and Nokia. Just stop letting them purchase them. And a lot of different exchanges did the exact same thing. And that's why, if I go back to here, GameStop, and you see this plummet right here, that's why it happened. People stopped being able to buy shares, which a lot of people say is criminal. I agree. That's why I'm dropping Robinhood eventually. I just got to slowly get money out, because you got to take money out and you got to let it sit, and then you got to, transfer it. Then you got to start. It's going to be about a week process to get it switched over. But the reason that happened is because they stopped letting people buy the shares. And, what ended up happening was for the entire day, and if you go to Wall Street Bets and you watch, like, hold, don't let them win, don't sell, this and that, sure enough, they, the exchanges started letting people buy more. But with me, couldn't buy Naked anymore. I ended up selling it for about $1,000 loss. I bought $3,000 worth of shares. I was up about $6,000, or I was up about $4,000. ended up freaking having to sell it for a loss. And it was all because they stopped letting people buy it, which still freaking pissed off about it. And that's why you can see I was up to about 30,000. But now after all this crap that happened, as you can see, I'm down. So I got TRXC. That's the medical device company I told you guys about. I have Virgin Galactic. That's another one that was under a short squeeze, and people actually rallied behind that. I didn't realize it at the time, but they are going to be doing their next test flight really soon. The last one they tried to do ended up getting canceled. They were in the air, and the rockets, they didn't fire the rockets. There was a difficulty. So they're going to be doing that one pretty soon. They've already done the mothership test launches, which they would do a couple test flights of the mothership before they actually do the real flight. Those 2 test flights have already happened. And then AMC, it's a long shot, but I got 100 shares. I'll sit on it. If it does as well as GameStop and it goes up to $400, as you can see, I should do pretty well.
The short squeeze is on, my friend.
Let's hope so.
It's on.
But I got to get out of Robinhood because they're just making it impossible. In fact, Dogecoin was another one that was really big. They're not letting people buy that either. Dude, so messed up that, these freaking companies, these hedge funds have so much power they can literally stop an exchange from buying, from letting people buy the fucking stock that's kicking their ass.
Of course.
That's fucking bullshit. This is not a G show, apparently. Apparently this isn't a PG show, but I'm just, I just can't, it's just whatever. So we'll see what happens.
Leave it out later.
There is a class action lawsuit against Robinhood. There's a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, we're going to go through it. Episode 3, BWSS podcast. I'm not going to be promoting my show on this show, but it just so happens we're a current events show. The other one just so happens we're covering this. So the question now is, the next one we're going to be talking about is, when is the next crash going to happen? So I have friends that think it's going to be about April. You were saying what, about May, something like that? What are your thoughts on that?
I want to say sometime like around, next quarter's earnings.
Sure.
I want to say sometime around options expiration. There's the month, maybe March, April. But, I don't know. I mean, what would facilitate a crash right now?
Finding out that the vaccines weren't as effective as everyone thought they were. A couple of these other variants. I think the Brazilian variant.
You think it's going to happen in a month and crash the market?
Not in a month.
Do you think that's going to catch the market off guard?
I don't think it's going to happen at all. But the new variants are a little bit scary. So Johnson & Johnson's one that finally they got the stuff released. They're saying it's really good on the original, but the new variants, it's not quite as effective. Something like that. And that's the problem, because there's the South African variant, there's a Brazilian variant, there's a London variant. It's amazing there's no US variant yet. Like, we're the freaking melting pot of this damn thing. So, but that's one thing that could sink it. But beyond that, I mean, the good thing about renewable energy and EV, Biden being in the warehouse is massive. Like, if you guys are looking for a sector out there, this is the one, because he is all about renewable energy. He is all about disenfranchising the oil and the coal and all that stuff. So, I think in that regard, it's going to be great for the economy altogether, more than anything else. I'm feeling bullish in the next 3 months. What about you? Doesn't sound very convincing.
I want to say bullish.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'll go with bullish.
Sounds good. Well, so here's the VIX. So it ended at 33%. What do you think for Monday? I mean, what do you think it's going to be, down or up? What are your thoughts?
I think down.
Down. And more importantly, is GameStop going to be up or down?
I think it'll be up.
You think it'll be up? I think it'll be up too. Yeah. I hope it is. I hope AMC is up. So like I said, GameStop's just here. Let me put in AMC. I know GameStop. It's just a little too. It's just too big right now. There's just not as much room to go. But people have been taking out billboards. In fact, I think somebody got one in Times Square. Like, we are not going away. Yada yada yada. Here's the 5-day on AMC. So if you look, it's been doing pretty well. So 1336. It's got a lot of room to grow. I'm going to keep my shares, not going to touch them. I don't care if it crashes. I'm going down, holding the bag if I have to. That's for sure. So any last minute thoughts?
No.
All right. Cool. So once again, this is Market Peak, P-E-E-K. This is Seth and Matt, and we will see you guys in a few days. Thanks a lot. Boom.